Hello, lads. Lasses and NB badasses. Hopefully, Isaiah Taylor should join us soon, because he was like waiting for the link. So maybe just like go to the bathroom and we'll come back. But right now it's just me, some random geek who. Okay, I will start the show by saying I should really, really, really clean up my room as it is because I apparently I bought this sweater a long time ago, but I just never opened the package until I was like going through my room and there was this black plastic bag that was like sealed and it was like and it was addressed with the label to me. He's like, oh, I must have bought this on Amazon a long time ago. Then open it like, oh, sweet, this is a Sailor Moon hoodie I never worn at all. So yes, so there's that, and of course Sasha, the true star of the show, who apparently is enjoying getting scritches right now.
hmm Although, when I scratch his back, he compulsively licks whatever he's close to. It's weird.
Yeah, that is kind of weird. And hello, Isaiah Taylor. How are you doing?
Is
I'm
it?
good. How are you? Hey, how's it going?
Are you
What's going on,
watching
Red?
BBC? No, that's CNN. How dare
See,
you?
Liberal propaganda? No, he's doing show prep. He's doing prep for the show to like have like this stuff to talk about. As it were.
yeah.
And
Okay. Well, I was just looking at the whole. So you said CNN. Actually, I'm actually watching This Is Life with Lisa Ling.
mm,
She does a lot of
Is she
like
dating Superman?
no
no, no, those Lois Lane.
Or Lana
Jeez.
Lang? Or Lorelai Lee?
Oh, oh yeah. Or whoever is like the gay man that's dating Superman now, or it's like Superman's son
Superman's
by the
gay son. Or bisexual
yes,
son.
yes,
Jonathan Kent.
bisexual. Yeah, Jonathan Kent. So he's Superman, as it were.
Yep.
Apparently riding on like Superman's coattails. It's that. Anyway,
Nepotism. Oh my god. When communism
yes,
happens, everyone will be
just
Superman.
just create a bisexual character on his own, and don't like take a already pre-existing character and make them gay. Come on. Anyway, Isaiah, I'm sorry we interrupted you.
no.
You're watching something with Lana Lang. Or Lisa
It's
Lang.
Lisa Ling. It's This Is Life. She does a lot of like I guess like she goes to like places that people usually don't talk about, and like just I guess
Like
like off.
Cleveland.
Yeah.
And what does she do there?
She covers like stuff like that's off like the beaten path, stuff like that.
Nice.
Is she the
So
one talking to the friendly neighborhood Nazi?
yeah, essentially.
Yeah, of course. Say Nazi that's like living next door because like apparently instead of like like Anita Studios High Dance had said in like the last alt-right playbook, the cost of doing business. Uh, the white moderates, which is not only the leaders of the Democratic Party, but also like the liberal media punchers, right, CNN.
Mm-hmm.
They were instead of like a kind of thinking, okay, we didn't get a lot of votes from like the marginalized people, the black votes, and like impoverished people. I wonder why. We should fix that because, like, if there's many of them that voted down the ticket on all the other races, but didn't vote for Hillary Clinton for the president, and that was enough to skew the race in favor of the other guy. What can we do instead of having that question, like the fact that voting rights has been like slashed in many places? There's like gentrification and like disenfranchisement to marginalized people. Instead of asking that question, they ask, how can we talk to our racist uncles at the Thanksgiving dinner table? Talk to your Nazi neighbors and get to know them, as it were, what they're like, why did they vote for Trump, as it were, and it's like, so wait, you're still expecting like marginalized people's votes automatically, but yet need to earn the white racists?
This is
I
nothing
mean,
new. The Republicans did the exact same thing in the 20s, pursuing what they
True,
called the
yeah.
Lily White strategy, meaning that
Yeah.
they were systematically purging black people from the ranks of the Republican Party in an effort to win
Yeah.
over white supremacists in the South. Liberals
Mm-hmm.
are always fucking dumb.
Yes. Uh, also assuming that that like, hey, listen, we just like play by the rules and like follow decorum and like everyone is happy because like that's the right thing to do. You follow decorum as well. It's like, no, we just do whatever the hell we want. We're not going to give you anything.
Sorry.
Listen, like doxers, it can be like interesting. Okay, I probably should if I'll add it to the list as a word, or if I remember. Because yeah, I'm always up for like looking for interesting things. So, how's everyone been?
7.
Uh, I'm all right. I, I actually took the day off yesterday because like yesterday was the just something happening in Fortnite, the end of chapter live event. And so now it's a new chapter in like Fortnite, completely new map. Um, and so that's the only reason I took yesterday off. I would just like go into work again because I created work for myself to do, and I would go into work to do that kind of work, and then just like come home late at night. But no, did not do that yesterday. So I'm gonna have like after such just after me today, go to like work to like I do that thing. Isaiah, you have something to show off. What do you have to share with us?
Okay, well, it's not done, but I can share it to you.
We're at the show and tell portion of
That
the
looks
live
like a
stream.
White Star luxury liner called the Titanic.
It is. It is. So how's the homelessness? How are people dealing with the homelessness in Seattle, Geek?
They're struggling as much as they can. Seattle has often done things where it's just like in the past, even extra credits like cover this because like they kind of notice there's a bike rack there under a bridge. Why doesn't need a bike rack there on their bridge? And that bridge is going to be demolished soon. And so someone did like a FOIA, like a Freedom of Information Act request for why the bike racks were put underneath that bridge that was going to be demolished by the Seattle City Council. I think they was deliberately designed, as is always, as a hostile design of like to prevent homeless people from
Ah,
sleeping
ow,
underneath
ow.
that bridge.
Okay, well, it's not finished yet, but this is my Titanic model.
Nice.
You've been
Yeah.
putting in lights, yes?
Yes. Okay. Let me turn this off.
Yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, yeah.
Yes,
The lights
those
are
it is lit up. It's not just reflecting. Nice.
nice. Yeah, that's impressive.
Yeah, I drilled out all the holes to put the lights in.
Nice.
So, and I did all the electronics myself. So,
Shasha wants to play for some reason.
He's
Or
overstimulated. I might have to shut the door, lock him out.
Hey, he knows that he's the star of the show. There's a picture on the stream at all times, or almost all times. He's still sharing out the stream to like all the discords, but like so yeah. uh, I have been like following the news, and yeah, the homeless thing is just a constant thing. And I may have told this before that like one time at work like years ago, there was like mayor candidate that like came in because the owner of the company wanted to like, hey, check out this candidate for a mayor, and my friend I want to take back Seattle. Now we have a cat on stream at all times, um, and he was complaining about the homelessness and complaining how friendly the city council or the previous mayor or the current mayor was to homeless people that they're coming to us. All the homeless people are coming to Seattle because we treat them well. I'm like, I hope we treat them well because I don't think that we are.
No, no, I'm
We,
saying that's a bad thing.
and he talked about how he wants to like I don't know homeless shelters in some ways. I don't know exactly. Everyone was most everyone that spoke out there and like had questions or comments about that proposal. We were not like no they didn't like um they were not in favor of what he is saying or like what he was putting down. And then my friend just like it was like he was so angry he rarely posted on Facebook, but he finally posted on Facebook of how angry he was at that that politician. Uh, so but like sweeps are still happening and sweeps are just terrible as always.
do you
Anyway,
guys know what's going on in Florida?
no, what's happening in Florida?
Um, well, so we have I actually heard we have a sheriff that wants to that wants to spank kids in
Mhm.
school.
Oh, of course. Because physical
Oh.
abuse is the only way to make a person a good person.
Yes. Well, yeah, I
Hmm.
mean, duh. No,
Yeah.
my state sucks.
Yep. Hmm. Yeah. No, yeah, yeah. Zay is very talented. That like, yeah, you're very talented with the model making and like the homemade like model of like the X-wing was really impressive. Everyone on
I
like these
still got
shows,
I still have to post that on social media, dude. I've been like busy with a lot of shit.
I'm busy with a lot of shit. I barely post on social media as it is, except
I've
for
been,
look.
although I have been a little stoned lately, so maybe I need to stop. Maybe I need to take a break from that for a while.
Up to you. It's where was I going with this? I mentioned something. I finally finished the link sharing link around. I okay. D&D sort of thing. Um, how's everyone in the live chat doing? How are you doing, EMC, and like Joey the Indigenous Sarah Tech? I hope you're doing well. I'm doing all right. It's gonna go to work tomorrow. Oh, and I may or may not be selected for jury duty tomorrow. Tomorrow I'll find out for sure. I also find out that like while the King County
Okay,
has
one,
like
Wesley, you need to get out from under my desk. Come on. Two, you're not going to be selected for jury duty. You're a communist.
I'll say what do anarchists do for jury duty? Like how,
is well
They say
that
they have
that's
political views that white people don't like, and thus they get selected not to serve.
okay.
it's the thing is like I'm summoned but not selected. I had to like wait to like get a call tomorrow or email tomorrow. I thought like I had to like show up to the thing because that's what the like jury profile kind of portal kind of website kind of said. But then I got an email and I read that email carefully. It's just like no, don't listen to that email. That the portal was not set up for like remote jury duty or remote court system or like to deal with the pandemic. So at least the King County court system is still like recognizing that we have a pandemic going on. Let's not all gather together at a courthouse to like spread the potential disease. Hanging in there. I've been able to visit my mom last couple of weeks, so that's kind of shitty. Haven't been able to visit my mom. Oh, that does suck.
Hmm.
Dishes here. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry, man.
At least you're hanging in there, though. That's good to hear. But like, now, yeah, I don't know now. So I have not been at this. Now, this I've been in the process of being like summoned for jury duty, but I was not ever selected. Thank God, like last time, because I was the only person in the stock room at the work, and there was a whole bunch of stuff that needed to be done. I was like behind on everything, and then once I found out that like, oh, I know wasn't selected, and I fulfilled my jury obligations as it were by being on the waiting list to be selected. I mean, in terms of being summoned, but not selected. And that may be the case today. So if I don't receive a phone call or email tomorrow by 4:30, I was not selected at all. But also I could just like go about my day, so I didn't have to like actually take tomorrow off. I can actually come into work and just like not use my PTO and try to get as much overtime as I can in order to like get money to Joanna Roberts and like Phoenix and all those other people as well. Because yeah, I was tapped out before like it's like by last week Monday, which is like, and that was last week of the month, so it was really hard for Joanne Roberts because like yeah, she didn't have money for food of any kind in order to like get things, and I know I said this on like a Twitter or Facebook as where because like it's all because like for 2 weeks I have to use vacation time. And in order to like jury duty is one of the most direct actions as an individual can undertake in our system. It's a good thing to do for left. It's also good to help the little friends avoid it though.
Jury
Well,
duty is one of the few ways you can punish white men for anything.
there's that benefit, and I also think that like trying to like think of like okay, so like in an ideal anarchist society as much as possible, how what we would do for like justice or anything like that. That is a interesting question to like tackle as well, because I Yeah, I don't know. I had to like, really sit down and think about it because like I don't want the many of the oppressive things that like is like happens under our judicial system. I want to like I want to abolish the judicial system as it is right now, especially since like I want to abolish the United States of America as it is right now. Go to land back and like I would have to like find out like how many other cultures like kind of deal with like a conform justice system as we're and again, with like, I don't want to like, I want to be more not retributive at all. I want to be more like rehabilitative as it were. And if for some reason we determine that like this person cannot be rehabilitated at all, and they're a danger to themselves or others, then it's like, hey, Joe, or at least a danger to others, I should say. If they're dangerous to others, then like isolation, as it were, freedom of disassociation was one thing. Is that we got like we always talk about the freedom association amongst anarchists, but that also includes the freedom of disassociation. When the people say, "Well, what about if you have to deal with the assholes in society?" No, you don't have to deal with assholes in society. Don't engage with them. Don't associate with them at all. Just like shun them, as it were. It already happens because, like I said, a atheist in small town America, just says like, actually, I'm an atheist. I'm not going to the Christmas party. Sorry, no, thanks, but no thanks. I don't. I'm an atheist. I don't believe in like Jesus as my Lord and
I'll
Savior.
go for the food.
That's one thing. Many people would go for the food, absolutely. But like, yeah.
This is
uh,
this is one of the Christmas presents. Excuse me. This is one of the Christmas presents I bought myself.
Ooh, that's okay. It's like a DVD cover of Star
Is
Trek.
that a Japanese version of Star Wars 3?
Star
No,
Star
Trek
Trek
Two.
3?
yes.
Star Trek Two. You're saying Star Wars?
Yeah, I said Star Wars. I meant Star Trek. Yes, but that's Wrath of Khan, looks like.
Yeah.
Yes, that's cool. Um, the idea is like an anarchist community would not be like sad. It would change as the people want to change it definitionally. I
Oh my
agree,
god, Wesley.
Joe.
But I thought people who are socialists shouldn't buy stuff.
Even my friend Economicon like kind of said that not to be materialistic, but well, or it's like not to be materialistic, but I like things. To which I say, it's like, why do you think that like we would not have things like personal things and personal gifts that we give each other in a communist society? To which she had no answer for. To be fair to Necronomicon, as we're a streamer friend of mine, I used to stream with her
There's
a
a
bunch.
difference between personal property and private property.
And to be fair to her, she said that she's barely a socialist, and she identifies as a Democrat socialist. Basically, she became a socialist because of Bernie Sanders. She also grew up in the middle of fucking nowhere, so she grew up on country music. So, but that can show you maybe the kind of like politics that she grew up with like her family of origin as well, and like her parents. So it's like, and she's been in. I play golf with friends with like her, and she's been in the conversation with me, Lin Wu or Lin P, and Wesley has the cone of shame.
Yeah, he couldn't stop licking himself. So I
No,
went ahead, put the cone on him, and now he's sitting next to Daddy. Which is adorable, but when you have to pee, it's a real pain in the ass because you can't move my chair.
uh, let's see. Oh, so Neknakon would play with the Groundhog 2010, Lin P or Lin Wu, and all three of us are anarchists. And so then, even when the conversation gets political, she was like, everywhere else where I'm engaged with or I'm interact with people, everyone else is like I'm to the left of them. But when I'm in the conversation with you three, I'm to the right of all you three. Again, barely a socialist and like Democratic socialist. She went to college and grad school and did study business and like economics, capitalist economics though. So it's kind of like,
Ugh.
hmm,
Making shit up and getting mad about it.
she's so cool in a lot of ways. She's just like so like the question about a lot of things. She also said to me that like, well, democratic socialism is such a way towards like your ideal society, and I disagree with that fully. Because electoralism is
It
just
could
dead.
be if it weren't for the fact that they inevitably turn into class traders. They
Yeah,
get comfortable in their positions and betray the poor.
Yeah.
Going back to World War One, that's just what they did.
Yeah, exactly. Even some of the pro-government anarchists, it was a thing in the great. Yeah, Eriko Malatesta wrote a whole essay, which I read on my stream, and it's up on my YouTube channel. And it's like, guys, no, those ALHONTRP, no. Those nations that you're going to say, hey, with the time in this great need of this great war or something like that, let's just like set aside differences and like fight the excess of powers and excess of evils and something like that. Yeah, they'll still portray you because you're like a political dissident and you're against their political systems. So I don't agree with the idea of being like for now being a pro government anarchist. It's like so yeah.
If I got the powers of Superman, I would spend a few months preparing, and then I would destroy every government, every military installation, every private server farm owned by any bank, and then I would kill all the billionaires. And I would do it. I'm not going to say because devs would get us flagged as a terrorist thing.
Yeah, don't do us as cast terrorism, John Brockman. Don't do us as cast terrorism.
Would it be bad to sometimes fantasize about commanding like a U-boat and like sinking like Jeff Bezos' yacht? Would that be fun sometimes?
Only if it's a Nazi U-boat.
Or if it's a what?
A Nazi U-boat.
Yeah.
Das Boot.
Yeah. Well, yeah, sure. It has to be.
So don't make it a U-boat. Make it a stolen U-boat, and it's you and a bunch of runaway slaves.
Yes. Yeah.
Because in World War II, they were still slaves.
That's right, and it was because of that fact that like Germany or something like that, they still had like slaves. Oh no, like this was kind of just before that or around that time.
Well, I know what we can talk about. Speaking of Germany, Kanye West likes Hitler.
Oh my God!
Even Alex Jones was just like even Alex Jones said like this is too much for me. I can't I can't agree with this. I can't sign off to that. When somehow Alex Jones is a voice of reason, relatively speaking, in that moment. Again, relatively speaking, in that moment,
Even Alex Jones knows you don't say good things about Hitler when people can hear you. But I think Kanye West just definitively settled who has it harder, white women or black men. Britney Spears got put in a conservatorship at this point. Kanye West is still doing Nazi shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's usually how like sexist our society still is.
Yep. Oh yeah. There's a cat and there's a dog. There's a dog just barely behind the bed, but there's the cat. No need to kill the billionaires if you can like take their power coupons. If they formerly disinfected workers were likely to take care of that.
You guys like Pizza Hut?
They're kind of greasy.
Yeah.
But
I haven't eaten a Pizza Hut in forever. That was big in the 80s, and then it just sort of disappeared.
But I'm not eating Papa John's because I heard Papa John's, their manager sucks.
They're shitty and racist. Well, Papa John himself was shitty and racist. They finally ended up getting rid of him because he was just so awful.
He showed up at CPAC though. He like blamed
Pillow Guy and Papa John's.
Yeah, it's not a great pizza, honestly. It's not the best. I don't mind eating it, but it's just like I guess
kind of boring.
Yeah. I don't know. It's just like I will still eat it because it's still pizza. I haven't had like a pizza where it's just this is so awful and so bad and terrible. I'm not gonna like eat this. Because like now it's Spoonie one, the Nolan F one. He has like these tales of like D&D where it's just like this is like the super greasy and terrible pizza as all that somehow instead of like going bad or moldy after a month of being underneath the toilet in the bathroom. It basically lacquered, and the grease solidified and preserved it. Not that it'll be good or anything like that or edible, but it looks like a fine pizza. as in you wouldn't question it until you tried to like take a slice off, and then it cracks like a saltine cracker. And the dust will come off of it too. Yeah, no one everyone has a whole
Well, I
story
mean, the
about
thing
that.
is, it's hard to say with cheese and grease, but my guess is that after it cooled down, the way it solidified, it actively prevented, bacteria and fungi from colonizing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Sort of like how butter, you leave it in a dish, it won't go bad.
yeah. I mean, I don't know if I
It's
would
just
still eat that, but
it's the structure. It's the way
yeah, yeah,
plastics
exactly.
and glasses and rubbers work.
Yeah. Yes. They get rid of Papa John's as well, yeah, and it's one of the few places like good gluten free happens. Oh, okay, so that's something. Because unfortunately I don't have. Well, I guess fortunately for me, I do not have celiac disease as it were, but like yeah, because like, hey, no, no, yeah, gluten free should not be a fad. It definitely should be a service to those who have celiac disease and like cannot produce or eat consume anything that's made with wheat. So they really do truly need like no things that are
Mm.
100% gluten free as well. But capitalists, of course, will take. Oh, people are eating gluten free, and some people do seriously believe that they concentrate better on gluten free food as opposed to like anything else. Not saying that
Yeah,
they
fucking
should.
goop addicts.
Yeah, yeah, it's kind of that sort of thing. That honestly, that's the kind of like mindset behind it. Like, I will eat gluten free. Do you have celiac disease? No, but I do better when I eat gluten free. So it's a placebo effect. You have no basis to like, unless you do like scientific studies. But then again, even then, what's this is so dicey with self-reporting this work.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, but yeah. So I do want to talk about it because apparently there's been changes to be making to D&D. Here's a blog post from D&D and Beyond where they're now changing they're still in the playtest is a portion of this one, but in that link I just posted, they're removing the word race from all the rule
Nice.
books or and replace it with species. So, okay. And they
I
did also
mean,
said,
subspecies would probably be better because they can interbreed. So,
well, so at least they're making some changes. They're willing to make changes. That's also a good thing. And again, this is a PlayStation portion of it, which means that like there's still like possibilities for things to be done. Actually, John Brockman, can you give me the permission to be
oh,
able to like share
share screen.
links,
Yes, let's.
share screen? So then. And I'll make
There
sure
we
to
go.
share audio too. All right, because like I could also post this into a link, so let's do that and like share sound. Okay, there we go. Um and share. You can see this, right?
Yep.
If you
See, you
haven't
can
seen
hear
it
it and see
yet,
it.
Wizards of the
Yep.
Coast just released a new Unearthed
Yep. Yep.
Arcana playtest, and they announced that they're going to be getting rid of the term race in 1D&D and switching it with species. A lot of people online who are just like, yes, finally, this is the change we were looking for. Thank you. Changing race to species doesn't solve the underlying problem in D&D of essentialism. In fact, it actually will enable more people to actually codify systems of oppression into their games by leaning in on things like the biological species concept. What I would have done is just copy what Paizo did. In Pathfinder, they ditched race and they used ancestry, and it's elegant and allows you to create really interesting characters. I love D&D, I love Pathfinder, I love all tabletop RPGs, and I just want to see them thrive and be more inclusive. That said, this is just a playtest, so there's still time to change this.
Yep, and that's about it. So like yeah, I'll stop sharing now. So I did think that like so I like some kind of change because like we've been many people have been critical of the word race before. It's sure even like
Especially
back
when you
then.
have the always chaotic evil races that happen to have dark skin.
Yes, it took a while for like them to change that too, and some fans still like I changed how they make the orcs good now. It's just like okay, racist, okay, but like so yeah, species is like I guess is a bit better, and so but it can still go into its own problem. I do like the idea of ancestry or origin and that sort of thing too, but they kind of like if fortunately it's like you could there can still be some areas where it's just like I'm not in the rule books or themselves or the game itself, but some players that come to the game. I guess is when it comes down to like trying to categorize like people, as it were, which is something that we humans do always do. We always just like put people into categories and put things into categories and put things into boxes and have a whole semantic discourse around that sort of thing. So I think, but I do think this is a step in the right direction, and I do like the idea of further going into like either ancestry or origin, where it's just like who you are or what you are, it will determine like this, that, and the other thing, like certain stats as it were, which is it's kind of the trope of like fantasy games. But like you should
I
I
think they
think
should just do a percentage. How Jewish are they?
Oh, I don't think they'll do that. I hope not, at least.
Do you, you guys
Republican role playing game.
have you guys heard that the Air Force just came out with another bomber?
I had not heard
I
that.
no.
I
Yeah,
am
they
not
did.
that kind of nerd like you are.
Well, I was just saying, I just wanted your opinion on that.
I mean,
It's
it's interesting. I like technology stuff, but I don't like the military.
Yeah, yeah.
It's hard on my heart. It's a hurt meaning.
I agree.
uh Bomb Shot's one of the few like pieces you can like order easily on and specialize and minimize soy exposure if needed. Oh yeah. Well, yeah, I did notice that with like the app of like Papa John's. It caused a bit of a problem one time, but we managed to clear up the like order right then and there. And so like I was just like, okay, no, I'm fine with this pizza right now. So like it was just a matter of like a payment. That's all. Is they got all rid of all the races and many are alignments of a typical evil, chaotic, etc. Mostly demons, this word, yeah. Which again, so there's also the whole conversation to have about like the like alignments of like a good or neutral good and like chaotic good and so on and so forth.
They
Um,
tried to change that up with fourth edition,
mm,
such that it went from chaotic evil to lawful good. They basically got rid of a chaotic good, neutral good, chaotic neutral, lawful neutral, things like that. It was just you could be neutral, good, evil, lawful good, or chaotic evil. And a lot. I
mm,
mean, that was just one of the things fans hated about fourth edition. I liked fourth edition. I
yeah.
liked what they were trying to do with balancing things. Um,
Mm.
but that change to the alignment system I didn't think was perfect, really necessary.
Yes. I mean, like how well can you do like an alignment system in any way, especially since like oh now characters can definitely change over time. You can I have known that like characters can go from like a neutral good or true neutral to then neutral evil as it were,
Look
or
at
even
Anakin
like.
Skywalker. Darts and droids did a wonderful thing there. One of the characters, uh, one, the person playing Anakin Skywalker was actually named Annie. And she role played it so well over time that she turned him from lawful good to lawful evil, and that's how he went from Anakin Skywalker to Darth Vader.
um it's good to see innovation. It is sad that the only way government is willing to like fund it to use it
Mm.
is if it's useful or imperialism. To well, to
I
go
mean,
to
that's how
your
the
point.
internet got started, was
Yeah,
military project, and then they just gave it
yes,
away for free to private companies because fucking
yeah.
capitalism.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, again, like, that's the thing about like the ideology of the Silicon Valley tech process, where it's like they benefit so much from like publicly funded like that things like GPS is also that was for military like uses as
Mm.
well, and then they just gave that away for free as well, and
It's like
so many.
everything in the iPhone was developed by government research.
Yeah, they and like the is the thing is like a lot of the Silicon Valley guys kind of like idolize something like Steve Jobs, who's just like a con man, and he did one thing well, and
He
knowing what
died.
people. Well, that's the one thing
So
he
he did
did
two
do
things
well.
well.
He did know what people did wanted, and like
Mm.
just whipped his entire team into like to make that, and didn't release it until they got that and got that right. So because
Yeah,
when
he's
they
like a
released,
competent Elon Musk.
yes, exactly. Well, it's like Mark Zuckerberg just stumbled into like giving something that people like did wanted of like connecting with like people that they knew in the past. You were John, you or my parents, even Isaiah's parents, are probably would talk on and on about this person that they knew in high school, this person they knew in college, but they disconnected with them because they move away, and as old people do. But like Facebook did give them, or give now our generation or other generations, or at least with other internet tools, the ability to connect with those people and meet new people like online. All the three of us here, all of the people in the live chat, we would not have met if we weren't for like the tools of like the internet communication and the internet that we gave it. It happened to be Facebook was one of them too. But Mark Zuckerberg just stumbled upon that and just
Because he
like that was
wanted to rate how hot the girls at his school were.
That's it, exactly. But all those like Silicon Valley guys still kind of think it's like the. I think it's just like how like many of others already talked about like how the people in the hippie cultures, some of them did became like radical and like anarchists and socialists and that sort of thing because like they fully embrace the like leftist idea of like egalitarianism or equality or equity to like all and that sort of thing and the free love. But then some of those like the idea of that kind of like shared like knowledge and all that sort of thing, but then they took it into like the into a right-wing libertarian direction as to say, okay, yes, let's all use this collective information, but you have to use this Apple thing. Or like, no, this is the Windows things, and I'm going to copyright it to hell, and you can't use anything about it, or I'm going to force you to use the Windows thing as well. I mean, Steve Wozniak was just like wanted to create the like impressive technologies as well, and that's what he did. And but Steve Jobs had to like try was going to call him out to like develop the like Apple computer or something like that, even though Steve Wozniak would have like given Steve Jobs the things, which is yeah, but that's the kind of ideology that just like formed like the Silicon Valley sort of thing, where it's just like it's almost Iranianism as we're and great man thinking of history, which is how like Nick Land thinks that like the best way to solve all the world's problems is to get someone like Steve Jobs to run the world. Slot shaming.
Yeah, it's a bad pun. I hate spell slots too. It's Vancian casting
Yeah,
is awful.
yeah. Yeah, one of the favorite rules is like for spell casting for NPCs spells now once a day or like two a day or a player a day. Yeah, okay. So that way, like, okay, so I haven't played D&D, but the idea of like spell slots, I think it's like inventory slots in other video games where it's just like you can only have you have these like okay, what's the meme I just saw you posted? It's like, yeah, that's pretty much the political compass as it
Yeah,
is.
it's my alteration of the political compass, the actual political compass. As you move to the left, you eliminate any possibility of authoritarianism, and as you move to the right, you eliminate any possibility of not being authoritarian.
And what is this other thing? Uh,
It's a,
the
That says content not
I
available right now.
I guess I guess it's to show you how much detail I put in it.
fortunately, it's not the link's not working for some reason.
Oh, okay.
Just share Instagram, and we'll follow up on your Instagram. I should actually
Or
have the
bring the photo up on your thing and share this screen.
yeah, it's like yeah, figure that out. So like spell so it's you have a certain number of like spells that are either like free like cantrips or like are level 1 level 2 and something like that.
Yeah.
Yes, there we go. Yes,
Nice. Ooh, that's a nice close-up detail. And Street Angel.
Yeah, it's a comic that I have.
that's
Yeah,
cool.
that is
I was
really impressive work there.
I
You
was
should
well
definitely
speaking
be proud of yourself.
I am. Well, speaking of the of that comic, I was thinking about reading it, then writing a movie script about it.
Okay,
You definitely
nice.
should. Go nuts.
Yeah.
All right, and don't forget. And once you're done like sharing the screen, don't forget to like, oh, that's nice. Yeah.
It's all about the that's the after section. Let's see. Oh, there's at the top. Let's
The
see.
you
Yeah, I still got a lot of work to do, but this is,
Are you building this off a kit or are you making it all yourself?
this is off a kit.
that's so cool though.
And I did all the electronics myself,
Oh, okay, that is impressive. Yes.
self-taught, so
So you're doing the what is it, fiber optics on the fly?
yeah. Yes, and also the just like the
Oh,
LED.
shame on you, Joe. Shame on you. Time out for you.
Oh, what did he say? I'm going to say it out loud. Looks like you sunk a lot of time into it.
I did.
I like big props and I cannot lie.
Oh,
It's been a while since like we like to time out someone for like a really bad pun. That was a
Yeah,
really
David has
good
been
pun.
very well behaved over the last forever.
He hasn't been here though. I think,
Mhm. He was here last week, I
which is
think,
unfortunate. I think it was
talking
here
about his
last week.
murder
Yeah.
house.
Oh yeah, that's right. There was that. So this happened like while we were didn't do the show. But like a couple of celebrity deaths that happened, but I'm going to like talk about the celebrity deaths in like this kind of order because I think it's kind of perfect for like this one of the celebrities that died. Gallagher died, and yeah, okay, it's a little bit about
The
that
watermelon guy?
death. The watermelon guy died at like 80
Whoa,
something. So yeah,
that's
uh,
a thing that happened.
yes, that's the thing that
I don't
happened.
think it's weird how he was ever a celebrity though.
Yeah, he was like he was just known for that gimmick of like the smashing of watermelons because his stand up was not like that good. It wasn't that memorable. I mean, maybe it can be a good time, but honestly, if I want to see the comedian, if we well, a comedian is coming back from that Mitch Hedberg, I'd rather see Mitch Hedberg or something like that. Of course, George Carlin. To see Patton Oswalt would be a great comedian to go see.
Hmm.
But like Gallagher. Eh, so,
what's,
but like
what
go ahead, Isaiah.
I was saying, what celebrity can you guys just literally not stand?
So many. Any of the conservative ones or the fascist ones,
So
like
Tim Allen, James Wood,
Kevin Sorbo, Scott
Hercules, yeah,
Adams.
Dean Cain,
Yeah,
uh, anyone, any Republican celebrity, yeah,
is
Caitlyn Jenner,
yeah, uh,
yeah.
the Gina Garoppolo or something like that. The one that she got fired from like a Star Wars
Mm-hmm.
Mandalorian. Yeah.
I don't
The
think
Nazi
that's
Morian.
I don't think that's Jeline Grop. No, that's not her.
That's
No,
Gina
the Dream
Carano.
Dropper was Gina Carano. That's right.
Yeah, because
Yeah,
Garofalo is pretty awesome.
Mm-hmm.
well, Dream Carano is pretty good. Yeah, yeah. At least better at politics for sure. Let's see. But like, I don't know. There's so many celebrities. I don't know if any other celebrities have just like behavior
Zack
or something.
Snyder.
Zack Snyder, there you go. Yeah, yeah. Not only fascist politics, that's where it makes fascist movies. No, and he literally said the reason why that like he gay coded like the villain Xerxes in like 300 is because to him as a 15-year-old, the scariest thing was like a gay man coming onto him. And so that he queer coded like the villain in 300 just because of that.
He gay
And it's
panic
just
defense an entire goddamn film.
yeah.
Do you guys like dang, who are those people? I'm trying to remember who they were. The creators of South Park. What do you think about them?
They're
They've
douchebags. They're right
yeah,
wing
they're
Republican douchebags.
yeah. No, they were critical of like George W. Bush at the time, and like I enjoy some of the jokes that like
They're
it's
just
South Park.
trolls.
Yeah, they're trolls. There were the internet trolls before like the internet trolls had became a major problem, but they always were against like the representation of woke politics as were, and they always do that sort of thing. Even though the South Park bigger
They're
longer
libertarian assholes. They're randroids. They're
yes,
shruggalos.
yes,
That's what
exactly,
they're called. Randroids are
yeah.
And
shruggalos now.
Uh, not to be confused with gigolos, because from what I've seen about gigolos, they actually are pretty awesome.
The
Even though,
juggalos are pretty awesome.
yes,
Shruggalos are not.
yes.
Yeah,
Actually,
I
no,
deleted
no.
Twitter a long time ago, and as soon as I learned that Musk had finally been forced to buy it, I
Yeah,
I kind of miss being in contact with people. I miss being able to shitpost, but I don't miss Twitter.
yeah.
Yeah.
I just haven't been using Twitter as much. I'll still use it because I still have friends that they use it, and unfortunately, like some of my friends have like, oh, listen, this is I am struggling as a content creator. I'm disabled, so the only thing I can do
Mm.
is like Twitch stream. So the only kind of like social media foothold that they kind of do have was started on Twitter. They hate the idea of leaving Twitter just so they can start all the way from the beginning and like on something else. But I did want to mention that one side I'm probably going to like hey, Will, how you doing? And that's okay to be late to the stream. The stream was late to begin with as well. But I just I was just like, no, no, I'll wait like it's 15 minutes for John Brumpan to post the link. I'm not going to like just cancel it early just because it's word this time. But co-host, I think is like one that like you should like check out. I thought it was be more like a kind of like a Twitter sort of thing, but it's more of a Tumblr thing with how like they do the posts and do tags. You can do much longer posts. I don't know what the character limit is on a post, so it can be a whole mini essay or essay, honestly. Um, and like you can also give it headlines, so it's like you can do is like quick things or like things. I do love how some of the features
And
of
they're
like
explicitly trans, apparently,
yes, yes,
because
oh
their
yes, that's
their
what
their symbol here on the front page is they call it egg bug,
yes, exactly.
and everyone knows that trans people start as eggs.
Yes, exactly. So one of the other features kind of like I did notice when I started up my own co-host and like do a post, when you have like it's in the post creation mode and stuff like that, and they have a checkbox for adult content. I like that. Even though I'm not going to probably never going to use that checkbox, I do like how that's there. So certain accounts that like will produce adult content, or not all their posts are going to be adult content. Sometimes it's just about like how they like made it like a sandwich or make milk toast, which I heard was a thing, believe it or not.
Look, the only
But
actual
then
adult content is paying taxes.
there's that too. I hate all, yeah, exactly, George P. I hate all we make fun of everyone sort of thing, and yeah, it's but this is from talk about the South Park creators. This is from two white boys too, so
Mm-hmm.
yeah. Let's see. Yeah, I always play create the casters NPCs with as much builds as they need to keep them finding challenging. If players is doing well, then they have more, poorly less. That's and they tend to happen to conveniently have fun with marginalized. Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
The South Park writers have a lot of fun at like marginalized people as well. They just don't understand and like, why are you complaining so much? Stop complaining so much. That sort of thing.
You
Um,
guys want to see something else I made?
sure.
And it's a Star Trek.
Ooh, Enterprise D. That's from yep, that's from TNG.
Yep.
So that's a model kit
The
of
only
itself.
good Star Trek. I'm saying shit to be controversial now. I'm doing a Trey Parker and Matt Stone. I'm doing a South Park now.
Yes.
Notice how I also put the blinking lights too at the end. So
Nice.
Yes, that is cool. So was the lights themselves or the like electronics a part of the kit too, or do you add that to the kit?
I had to buy that separately and add to it.
Nice. That is something. It's something for like I was really impressed with anyone putting a multi kit together, like Gunplas is the word, but you also added the lights. That is impressive. That's you're quite talented. As a yes,
Oh
definitely.
yeah, I see a lot of this stuff is my happy place, so I
Yeah.
kind of pretend I'm on it. This is why I could really never sell my work. I mean, maybe eventually I'll do.
Joe, don't make it sexual. Gross.
Nice D, Isaiah. Oh, gee. Uh, yeah, even if ideas are best described as 18 plus, well, as that goes, I want to like say what ideas are 18 plus, as it were. Even it's like that would be a distinction I want to like here essentially. Even if it's not porn, if the direct action is a good button to use, a good practice. Well, the direct action practice, I don't know why you want to like don't ruin your joy by bringing capitalism into it. Yeah, no, exactly like that noise. Yes, Isaiah, make your models for yourself. You don't have to sell them. You don't want to. Absolutely, keep them for yourself.
Oh, I mean, eventually I will sell one of them. I mean, I did sell one before for $100, so
Okay.
I'm not like against it. I'm just like I don't make enough of them now to just sell them, and I also want to.
Believe me, Isaiah. Once you make that your job and how you have to pay the bills, you're going to not enjoy it as
No,
much.
probably not,
Yeah,
because like I see people who cosplay and they make a living off of it,
yeah.
and I don't see it as fun once you do that because yeah, you're I don't know.
Yeah, well, it's because it's there'll be times when even if it's something like streaming and playing video games, for example, there'll be times where they that even though that person loves playing like Fortnite or loves playing like Warzone or loves playing like Valorant as well, there'll be times where it's like I don't feel like playing Fortnite,
Right.
Warzone,
Yeah.
or Valorant, but sometimes because you're just so frustrated at the game, either the game lagging like Fortnite was with me earlier today, that there's again new chapter, so it's a lot of new things. There's going to be a lot of lag, I bet. But or be frustrated with the matches because you're just like not doing well. But if you still need to like stream or like play Valorant or play or do something that's like fun, but yet do it because it's your job or work and have to put food on the table, you're forced to still have to like do it in
Mm.
order to just pay rent because we live in a capitalist society that has the cost of rent.
Yep, I
Yeah,
can't remember who said it. I think it was Robert Aspirin. Doesn't matter how much you love it, when you have to do it, whether you want to or not, it's a job.
yeah.
Yeah. Do you
Uh,
do you guys ever see us moving beyond capitalism?
I would love to think so, but
Once I get my Superman powers and force the world to, then yes.
that's the thing is like I want it maybe is like a waste of time for me to try to do this. I want to convince others to get away from capitalism. Now, many people can get up to the point that recognize there's a lot of problems within capitalism, but they're not at a point to know that capitalism itself is a problem. And but then there are some people that think that no, there's no problems with capitalism. Or capitalism is good. And part of me to have discussions with liberals and be a political agitator like in Steve Shive's like live chats for better or worse, or in Steve Shive's like Facebook comments, which he's done less political stuff because I okay person is in the White House now, of a conservative capitalist Joe Biden, but but if like and Steve Jobs also says like hopefully you're not trying to convince me of like being arrogant because that's not going to happen. But then it's just like okay, but if like so many people are not going to be convinced that capitalism is bad, then those ideas going to perpetuate. I just finished listening to the Dawn to Everything audiobook again, and they mentioned this at the end of that book is that many the new theories take hold in the scientific community and sciences not because they were able to convince the proponents of the old theory that they were wrong, and here's why you should probably like agree to the new theory. No, how the new theory takes hold and the old theory dies off is that the people who are proponents of the old theory just literally die.
Yes, let me
So,
bring up the actual quote. If I can find it. Let's see. Max Planck quote. New
I'm
scientific
afraid
truth.
like
There we go. And I'm not going to read in the original German. A new scientific truth does not triumph by convincing its opponents and making them see the light, but rather because its opponents eventually die, and a new generation grows up that is familiar with it.
yeah. So unfortunately, the only hope for also finally get rid of all capitalism is for everyone of the millennial and and Zoomer generation, or if not the Zoomer generation or the millennials, the next generation, to be convinced that capitalism is terrible. We should never try this ever again. And
A lot
because
of millennials are really on board with that.
true,
Um,
I do agree with that.
well,
That
millennials are basically my generation, but millennials, Zoomers, you're seeing it really picking up a lot of steam, even if they don't necessarily understand that they're talking about socialism. There's a lot of anti-capitalist sentiment out there.
yeah.
I think a lot of people are want to reform it well th- well th- well th-
Definitely the liberals will.
well this actually like begs the question: is Star Trek communism? Because
Yes.
I say it is.
well,
Yes.
well, yeah, it is, but it's not like there's an abolishment of the state, so to speak, right?
Yeah, there isn't.
like
Um,
well,
on
I don't know.
Earth, the states haven't been
That's
abolished, but they have to organize in order to deal with alien threats, and so it's basically the Soviet Union, but without Stalin or Stalinism.
I don't really mind having a state as long as it's okay. Or I don't know.
Well, how I define a state is like the institution of that has the monopoly on violence.
Mm.
So my problem with a kind of like a state as it were, maybe is by perception as it were, but if they can like impose their will onto like others just because like brute force and something like that, police force or a military, that's where I have a problem with it because that's is a unjustified hierarchy. Well, I guess that's the question to you, Isaiah. Hierarchies just in general. Do you think that's a good thing?
Um, well, see, I'm speaking just on my on what I am. I think that as someone who is on the spectrum, and people on the spectrum mostly do need some form of hierarchy to do things. I'm not 100% against hierarchy, but again, it's like if we lived in a Star Trek society, that's the hierarchy that I would actually like to be under. I don't know. But then again, I'm speaking for me. I'm not.
Hey, Phoenix.
Hey, Phoenix.
So that's
Limited in duration, limited in scope, authority only as absolutely necessary for a given situation. Like the Enterprise, you're talking about a ship that is exploring potentially hostile territory, is going to need to take direct and immediate action without the ability to reach consensus first. So it
Yeah.
makes sense to have
yeah.
a military style hierarchy in that limited situation.
Right. Oh yeah, well, see that there's a high see that's a hierarchy I can get behind, but I can't get behind like, a governor of a state that, you know, is corrupt and like and is like, makes laws that are like awful and stuff like that. See, for example, Governor DeSantis, it's like asking me, would you rather serve under Picard or Governor DeSantis? Well, it would easily be Picard. There's no competition. So it's like, I'm not against hierarchies all the time, all of them. I'm just against most of them.
Well, and that's interesting. Well, many liberals would like I found argue with this like with some of the people where it's like no, they think that someone needs to be in charge, and correctly points out that we're not against like all authority or all expertise as we're again the classic Miguel Good quote of like if when it comes to boots making, I will consult the expertise of a bootstrapper. Um, and I think I like the example where it's just like, or like the militias in the Spanish anarchists in like Catalonia during the Spanish Civil War, they probably would like kind of like vote amongst themselves and like in the squad. I'm like, okay, this person is the most experienced in like fighting. I'll trust my life with this person, so he'll be like the de facto squad leader for this moment or for now or for as long as the squad's together. And if this person says, "Hey, do this," I will do that because there are times where it's like it's life and death situation, like on the crap fisherman ship. There's like things that can instantly kill you if you're just standing in the wrong place. So it is like helpful to have someone that's a lot more experience to say, don't stand there or come here or hook this thing up to a greenhorn who's less experienced in like crap fishing as well. But running a Starbucks. Why do we need a manager for running a Starbucks? It's not life death situation. We have all dealt with like Karens before, as it were. And hell, Von Rack, thank you for showing up as well. So it was like that's where I was like, why do I have to listen to you because you're the manager? Oh, you can fire me, and that'll be terrible because then I won't need a job and something like that. Whereas like when there's a course of force among it, as it were, that's where it's like, and that there's no reason for that, of course, if a hierarchy to be there. So that's where we like they say, no, we don't need a manager that has free power over his employees at a Starbucks and stuff like that. They can all just manage it together. Maybe one manager on duty to handle the customers, but that will be their task at that Starbucks that day,
I
and they
don't
can
think you would
probably
even need that. I mean, the only
yeah,
real difficult thing would be scheduling to make sure you have enough people at
yeah,
any given moment, and even that
yeah,
doesn't require authority. That just means
no
you say,
consulting.
okay, we have these
I
needs,
don't know.
and you have these hours. I mean,
Yeah, I don't know. Did I just like forfeit my socialism pass when I said that?
not really.
No, not probably. They go, well, there's also many socialists that like
I
think
mean,
the
you're
same.
not an anarchist, and I judge you, but
Right.
no. I mean, the thing is, these are all practical considerations, and even the most extreme, well, okay, maybe not the most extreme anarchists, but anarchists recognize that there are situations when you need somebody who does the telling.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
they usually also recognize that hopefully we can eliminate those situations moving forward.
Right.
Like, if we finally manage to get to a situation where we have a united world with no states, there will be no need for military, and thus that hierarchy will no longer exist.
Right.
Yeah. Funny enough, speaking of hierarchy, I actually went to a rich, I guess a rich people's hotel last night to just look around, and they kicked me out because they said if you don't have like a pass or reservation, you can't be in here. So
Yeah.
I thought that was hilarious.
Well, they didn't want a black guy hanging out there. It would scare the customers.
Yeah.
Mhm. We had the gayest day yesterday. They came out over to my place and we ordered sushi and binge watch Harley Quinn. That's awesome for you. That's right. You mentioned this about that to me as well. That like yeah, you're in a relationship. For the most part, bad, but it's not like I do not think the current human culture is ready to remove it. And that's the thing too. Going back to how unfortunately I don't like I'm not going to convince anyone that's in like Joe Biden's age or like older or something like that or like 50s or older especially if they still like think that communism is like USSR. I'm not going to convince my dad either about like socialism or like communism or anarchism. I can probably sometimes also it'll be hard for them to recognize the problems. Again, like I was trying to ask my dad to help out with giving money to Joanna Roberts. He doesn't want to because like it's his personal thing that he wants to physically meet the person in person in meet space before he will be willing to give them money as it were. And I think for him also he just doesn't want to either because he doesn't want people to take advantage of him, which is also why he is against taxes too, because he's afraid that I think he's concerned with other people taking advantage of the system. And so I'm afraid that like he would not be like in favor of something like a UBI or anything like that, or something I advocate
I
for.
wouldn't want a UBI just because you give people $2,000 a month, suddenly rent goes up $2,000 a month.
True. Yeah, that
I
is
just wanted to give
that,
everybody free food, free housing, free clothes, free education, free healthcare, guaranteed, everyone.
yeah,
And
it,
then suddenly we get rid of all the bullshit jobs.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, Von Reich is like I'm trying to think how best to like prepare like our people's cultures to be able to be ready for like no, there's no boss. You don't need a boss because unfortunately, like you said, is I think for you, you said like you kind of need some kind of structure to like I guess like get you motivated or get you to like point in the right direction is what I think say Phoenix says I don't think all hierarchies are inherently unjust, but a lot of unjust hierarchies end up that way too. Um
I
yeah,
think hierarchies become self reinforcing. They entrench themselves and make themselves unjust, regardless of how they started.
right.
Like, there's the Academy of French Language or something. It's set up by the French government. When it started, they did a hell of a lot of reforms. They standardized French spelling and language and did a lot of really awesome things, and then they became super conservative.
Yeah. Yeah, so which is why like I think society one thing that is constant about like humans. I think I like to think this is constant about humans. Actually, I think I know this is constant about humans. So after listening to Dawn and Everything or other people's like things, humans are adaptable.
Mm-hmm.
So I think we can adapt to like other different things, but right now, the people who benefit from these systems of power and oppression don't want that like oppression to go away. Because again, as we've seen time and time again, even like this sense of equality or equity, uh, just like marginalized people asking, as like the meme that Joy posted on Facebook, just even like the idea of some people getting like marginal people getting a sense of equality, cis white guys will like go, they're gonna hunt me for sport because they guess any sense of equality feels like oppression to them when they like because the things are more and more things are not being catered to them or
Mm-hmm.
this or they think that like someone I had this conversation with like a cis guy. He wasn't white, but like he's still cis and like cis het, but he didn't like the idea of like gender affirming surgery being like free for like those that like want it because he feels like that they were getting a benefit that he was not, and he thinks that's unfair and it should be equal that everyone gets like boob enhancements if they want or like gets like or I can like say like this hand gives me dysphoria of some kind, so I want this hand to be removed, and I'm just like, you're pulling up an extremely rare case. I don't know anyone has ever said that sincerely, but yeah,
There
many
are people out there who want body parts removed. It's
sure.
rare. V.S. Ramachandran, I think, is the name. Is a guy who's talked about it, has multiple talks online that you can watch. Basically, your body, your brain has a map of your body, and for those people, that body part doesn't exist on that map. So every sensation coming in from that body part, I mean, your brain just automatically checks sensations coming in against that map just to double check, confirm what it is. And since it's coming from
I
a
see.
place that doesn't exist, your brain just freaks right the hell out. And
Okay.
everything coming in there is intrusive. And it's just upsetting to them. They know that removing their arm or their foot or whatever would be uh, inconvenient, would be very difficult and make their life harder, but it would also just relieve an enormous burden for them. So yeah, it is a rare thing, but it is something that exists. And yes, I believe those people should get free surgery too,
Oh yeah, yeah.
until and
So
unless we can find a way to like get their brain to remap for them, so they don't need to get that done.
right. There's I want to bring catch up with a lot of conversation happening in the live chat like because yeah, I think the example that like some hierarchies just like it sounds kind of like inherently unjust. Like you can correct me if I'm wrong, Phoenix. But like a parent raising a child, there is like times where that is just for a parent like, and Noam Chomsky always brings up this example: a parent or some adult grabbing a small child out of the street as they're running into the street about being hit by a car. And
Mm-hmm.
that's a example of us just hiking that moment because, yes, that adult is like breaking the body autonomy of the small child. The small child, not knowing about it, is running out in the middle of the street and could have been like killed by that oncoming traffic. So the adult is breaking that child's body autonomy to help the continue their life wrong and avoid injury. But after that, or like another great example that like David Graeber uses is like doctor patient. When I'm sick, I don't know how to cure me, but ideally, and we're putting aside the problems with the medical system as it is, a doctor can tell me do these things and I will be healed. But once I'm healed, I'm no longer a patient, I'm no longer sick, then we're just like equals as well. Because why should
Mm-hmm.
I continue to listen to my doctor when I'm fine? This is a, but like there's fortunately with doctors having powers over patients as it is in this society, some people can even be denied benefits because the doctor said so, or did these things,
Mm-hmm.
or even like Phoenix experience is like, well, have you tried losing weight? So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Yeah, like Abigail Thorne recently did a video. It was actually probably
Mhm.
like 2 months ago. I can't remember, but about
Oh,
her experience seeking trans affirming care in the UK,
right.
and how her
Mhm.
doctors just all refused to give her the medical help she deserves, that she's
Yeah.
owed. Um,
Mhm.
yeah, that's a
Yes.
philosophy tube, Abigail Thorne.
Yeah, philosophy, Abigail Thorne, yeah. And I like Joe the Coy's comment as well. If a child felt like they're being treated unfairly, it would be good if they could leave their parents, if they can, and still need care, and go to other adults to guide them.
Mm-hmm.
Joey, the Indigenous Heretics, brought this up. Like that's how the Lakota family kind of like runs things, or the benefits of having a large family, where it's just like if or sometimes even in those that sort of things, there are certain needs that a child needs the father is not that good at like taking care of these. Sometimes the mother is, or if the father's not that good at these, the mother is good at these but unavailable, then maybe an aunt or like an
Mm-hmm.
uncle. There can be now. There's something sometimes there can be problems with the strong family ties in that there's an abuser in that family. Be like, oh, no, this person is like great, it's wonderful. It's like so and so. He's so lovely, friendly. Okay, lovely, friendly to the rest of you, but to this person or to me, that person's an abuser. So there's problems there. That's going to be have to like be tackled when they come up.
Mm-hmm.
And that's one of the disadvantages or trade-offs of that sort of thing. But I do agree that like, yeah, parents raising a child can be terribly bad for the child if the parents are abusing their hierarchical power over the
Mm-hmm.
child, as it were.
Well, the thing is, my view is that we shouldn't view it as parents having rights or authority or whatever over a child. They are exercising the child's own autonomy and authority on that child's behalf, and
Yes.
hopefully doing all and only the things the child will have want them to have done
Yeah.
once the child is an adult and capable of making that decision for themselves. It's not the parent's authority over the child; it's the child's own authority being exercised by somebody with better judgment than the child has.
Yes, I do agree with that, and there is such a thing as a anarchy parenting, where it's like it more or less. I like to see if I'm not a parent yet. I do have some nephews, and in fact, my step nephew is about to get me celebrating his 2 year old birthday, but I'm not going to go to the party because I'm going to work. It was just going to be like having free food. I was like, and so, even though it's like their step family, I don't visit them that often, even though they like live like in like this city over. But anyway, but like I would like see myself if I am a parent, I'll see myself more as like someone who's guiding that child into like being like a fully well-rounded adult and that sort of thing. So I'm not going to like dictate what they do or tell them what they do, but give them advice and guide them on their journey and to realize who they are. And that's how I would see a parent and our parents' role to do. And that's where it's also like it's not just like the biological mother or biological father. We can easily choose our own family, including our own choose our own siblings. I have friends that like adopted each other as like sisters, for example. They call each other sits. And so yeah.
I agree.
Mhm. Let's see. And like Phoenix also
As
says,
a bunch of people without children, obviously our opinions carry more weight.
my older sibling is a parent, not only with like their with their step no, yeah, step kids, and but they're also their own kids as well. So it's like two older step kids, both on the spectrum, and two younger kids with their partner. Probably don't know if they're on the spectrum or not yet. They're young, but like yeah, since both their parents are queer, like my older siblings, agender, and their partner is non-binary, non-man, non-woman. Uh, yeah, that's I'd say that's a good upbringing for that part, and at least they also live in Oregon. That's all I'm gonna say because like at least it's better than like other places. Um,
I think we shouldn't have gender reveal parties until you're like 25.
yes, or that's when we have the gender review party. It's like I'm non-binary. And if there's pyrotechnics, be sure to not let it off when there's like a dry season at the forest.
Fucking Californians.
Yeah. Jojo P and Limp P's not here, but Jojo P, you can probably confirm that California people can be very weird. Let's see. Will, you have a comment? A bit unrelated, but while I don't disagree with physical punishment in general, I can understand why black parents would do if it meant their children will be killed. Not okay with it, but I understand. Or beating up a guy shooting in a club, for example. Yeah, exactly.
I mean, what's his name? Reading Rainbow guy, blind guy
No,
from Star Trek.
LeVar Burton.
Yes, LeVar Burton talked about teaching his kids about how to, not get killed by cops. You don't have to hit your kids to teach them when the cops pull you
Yeah.
over, you roll down the window and you stick your hands out.
Mm.
You just explain this shit to them. You don't need to hit them. Like Phoenix said, if they're too young to understand reason, they won't understand why you're hitting them. If they're old enough to understand reason, you can use reason. You don't really need to.
But in the Bible, it says, "Spare the rod, spoil the child." So, what do you say?
The Bible also doesn't say anything against rape, so fuck it.
Yeah, I hear. I had this black anger management teacher who said he likes to beat his kids with his fists.
The fact that he likes to do
Wait, he
that
was
is
in
always
charge of the anger management and he was saying this shit?
Yes.
Fucking Florida.
Well, yeah.
okay.
Well, I don't know if he like to do it, but he says he does it when he said like if I caught my child with his cell phone out, I just beat my kid with my fists.
He's a great dad.
No
He
wonder, no
deserves
wonder,
to keep his kids.
no wonder,
He should not be castrated and left to die
no,
in the
no,
street.
no wonder black people suck.
He said that.
I can say that, but I'm just
Right. Okay.
Well, no, I
there's
mean, just looking at Family Feud and Steve Harvey, I think that's all the condemnation you need.
yeah.
Right. Okay. EMC has a comment. Sorry, but I don't agree with healing as a medical priority. Even it either ties it back too quickly to overcoming or passing as normal narrative, as it were. And that's a good point. If parents always says. Okay, so I think it's like the analogy about like a patient doctor. I think one thing that's like it should also be brought up with that is that the patient just chooses to come to the doctor as well, and that this is an issue so we're what can we do to like help with this issue, because like if that person is like maybe he's sick or maybe he's like unwell but like doesn't want to go to a doctor, that should be their right too, honestly. Because of,
So
like
long
again,
as their condition doesn't have social ramifications. Like if you have a mental illness that causes you to be randomly violent.
right. That and
Things like
that goes into that whole thing too as well.
Or if you
Because
have a highly infectious disease like typhoid. I mean, there are.
that's a good point too. Um,
But I absolutely agree that the focus should not be on healing or returning to a norm, but helping the
True.
patient live their best life
right.
as they see fit, as they choose.
Yeah, because I did read that.
Oh no,
article
Wyleth. I don't think you were agreeing
No,
with
no.
physical punishment of children.
Yeah.
It is kind of understandable.
Willis.
A scared parent wanting to protect their child from the cops. You can understand how they might, freak out. But I think there
Yeah.
are better ways. And LeVar Burton, Reading Rainbow Man, showed
thinking about writing like making a blog called Isaiah Says, where I like review and like comment on movies.
Oh, there's a
So
portmanteau title there. Isaiah says, Isaiah. Isaiah.
I say it. Okay, but now you're okay. But now that sounds like Foghorn Leghorn. I say it. Because funny enough, if you like play one of the Legend of Zelda games and you name the main character,
Willith, sorry.
I say, yeah. That's why I was mentioned. It's pronounced Willis, like little. But like if you name your character in the Legend of Zelda games, the main character, not Link, but like I say, you inadvertently cause everyone in the game to have some kind of like to have a Foghorn Leghorn impersonation.
yeah.
I say it's dangerous to go alone. Take this.
So I say you were thinking about having your own blog. Well, co-host can be a way for you to do that with a blog because there's another feature I noticed on co-host I didn't realize until like yesterday when I was like in fact posting my go live tweet for my stream yesterday, and I mentioned this on stream. They have a button you click to add content warning. And I'm trying to like go back to like see I had a conversation in the Discord. It was like I just found this out. It's like so that's kind of cool because how I mentioned that like the content warnings would work is that like it kind of like spoilers in the Discord or something like that, or like on Twitter with like sensitive media where it's like you won't see it, and, and I think it's a setting in your own like a personal account of like a co-host where it's like you click to allow things with content warnings to be seen or not. And so if you don't, and so if you, I think it's like I would imagine it'd be an opt-in sort of thing. You opt in to see adult content, or you opt in to see things with content warnings on it. And if they come across a post that has content warning, which I think you can, I want to experiment with that content warning thing to like. Yeah, you can add your own content warning, be whatever, be like food, be police brutality, be white supremacy, be racism, turfism, whatever. You can add your own content warning. And so then people who don't have did not opt in to the content warning, they'll if they see the post because you're following that account, it will have the thing said, this has content warning about here's the content warnings. Do you still want to view it? And you can click on it. But then you can also click to hide it again in case it's like, okay, that's enough, and not see it again. If I remember correctly from how they mentioned that,
You can not
hey,
see it? Nazis? What?
no, co-host is not going to have Nazis. They may be slow and like updating things, maybe slow and making changes and hurry some bugs as sure as well. Oh, but like, hey, it's a small team right now, from what I imagine. But they're be sure to not have like biggest Nazis and turks on the platform.
I did not see that coming.
Meanwhile, on Twitter, this news came up this past week. Basically, Andy Ngo and other
Yeah.
far right wing assholes are telling Elon
Yeah.
Musk who to ban, meaning anyone to the left of Jimmy Carter is getting banned from Twitter.
Yep, Crime Think, their Twitter account got banned. I'm sure a lot of all the anti-fascist like accounts. I'm sure, like if they're not banned already, they're going to be banned soon.
So we
Uh,
lost Chad Loader, Vishal Pradip Singh, others like that. The Elm Fork John Brown Gun Club, who provided security for the trans brunch in the
Yeah.
town in Texas. I mean, not trans,
Yep.
drag queen brunch.
yeah.
I'm glad that that some of our lefty friends are actually now protecting some of the trans events now, some of the drag queen events.
Even though it's still a terrible tragedy of what happened in Colorado, there were still people who did stood up and like, yeah, breaking the bodily autonomy of someone else, but that someone else was shooting other people, so they did like beat down that other person too as well. It's still trash
It's
that
like the paradox of tolerance.
yes.
You protect certain things by violating it in other situations.
Yes. And this actually was brought up in the Dispossessed on Anarcho-Tomunists where there's two people fighting, but it seems like they're both on it probably like disagreement or something like that, or they just hate each other guts or something like that. But if there were two people fighting and it seemed like a mutual equal fight as it were, or then they were just not going to bother, and they probably are not as interested as her. But if say one is down and the other is still beating down on that other person, where then this becomes an unfair fight, that's where it's like, okay, hold on, stop it. Okay, stop that.
I would intervene even before that because
yeah.
if you're in a physical confrontation like that, something has already gone horribly wrong and it needs to be stopped.
Yeah,
That sort of confrontation just shouldn't happen.
So there it's kind of, so again, just like we're not against all violence as we're, there's like a time and a place for it as we're, but when we could have a criticism of a institution of a state, that like where they have the monopoly on sanctioned violence, where they are allowed to do it and almost with impunity because they are the state and they can say so that they can do so. And that's where it's like, well, I question the authority of the state that's just like I just because I say so and that sort of thing. That's where I'm anarchist in that way because like hierarchies that are there has to justify themselves, and there's no justification for that hierarchy. Then we gotta work to get rid of that hierarchy because if we don't need it, we don't need it.
There is a school of thought within anarchism that says that even the justified hierarchies thing is going too far because how do you justify it? They end up justifying themselves and
Mhm.
blah blah blah. And that's, thus, we
Yeah,
have
I
to
can see that.
end all hierarchies. Full stop.
Yeah. Is like interestingly like now I can see that I don't see this like a major like issue to start discussing this where we have other problems to work on well before we come this across this possible hierarchy popularity. Someone like Neil Gaiman that has like a whole bunch of other fans is probably going to have a longer line at the autograph booth or somewhere for people wanting to talk to Neil Gaiman. But here's this other writer like Nick Anderson or something like that
Mm-hmm.
that also writes like comics where and is not as popular. Is that a unjust hierarchy because Neil Gaiman is more unknown? So that again, that'll be a thought experiment, a thought process, just like
Mm-hmm.
philosophical conversation to like have in the far flung future where we finally abolish like capitalism and state and no other just hierarchies. So have that conversation there because that'll be interesting to like try to see if like that's an unjust hierarchy of popularity too. But then how to if it is, then how's it come that? Brunch is the best meal. I for me, it's just because of like how prevalent
You get
eggs
to wake
is
up
in
late and still have breakfast.
breakfast is like it's weird for me growing up with an egg allergy and how prevalent eggs is or other things that are made with eggs are in breakfast items and breakfast meals and that sort of thing. If I go to a restaurant to like order breakfast, it has to be like something like cereal and dry because I don't like milk. I just can't milk's too strong for me. Um, so then like
I'm sorry, but that was the whitest thing ever.
That's true. That's
Can you
true.
tone down this mayonnaise?
I'm allergic to eggs, and mayonnaise is made with eggs, so I can't have
I'm
mayonnaise
not,
either. Um,
Milk is
I
too
don't
strong
know.
for me.
Yeah, it's just milk is too strong for me.
I'm not really a watermelon fan, so
Yeah, I can understand that. So
it would make
uh,
me eat too much.
yeah, that makes sense. I when I brought up like celebrity death, I did want to mention and concord with like Gal died, which is like, oh, Gallagher died because like there was another celebrity death that happened around the same time, and more people were just like, oh no, because the voice of Batman, Kevin Conroy, passed away
Mm-hmm.
too, at the age of like 62 or 66. I forgot which, 66, I think. And
He was
okay, and
gay, I
here
think.
and that's the thing. I did not know he was gay. Apparently, that recently came out. In his like documentary film or document or autobiography of memoirs he did. The voice of Batman, because like that's where it's like Batman has to live a double life because there's Batman, but then there's Bruce Wayne. And Kevin Conroy also did the thing where it's like I don't know if any other like performers of Batman before him or after him did it, where it's like there's a distinct voice difference between Bruce Wayne and Batman. But he also did it naturally. He didn't have a growl or have like it be done in points.
Mm-hmm.
He or
He
to
just
do
had a
that.
lighter voice when talking as Bruce Wayne and a darker voice when talking as Batman.
Yes.
They were eventually going to
But
have two voice actors, but he did well enough with both that they just gave him all the lines.
yeah, oh yeah, I remember that. But and I think like is he was living a double life too, as like being Kevin Conroy, or with his like acting career, he was also in like Broadway and that sort of thing too, and like the stage theater in like New York, if I remember correctly. But like for some reason or another, and says was is him honestly he was never out as gay until like recently, so he kind of lived the double life, and finding his Batman was kind of like that part of that journey too, of like to live that double life because like Batman has to like live a double life as Bruce Wayne as like the public figure, but then Batman and when not in public as well.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
And Kevin Conroy got to play a live action Batman too.
Yeah, that's right.
During
And
the
then like,
massive Crisis on Infinite Earths crossover in the Arrowverse, he got to play a version of Batman who had actually gone dark.
right, because like they do that all the times. Like in Batman the Animated Series, there was a great episode of where or there was like the Great Ghosts as it were,
Mm-hmm.
where it was like toys that were like being used and reminiscent of the old classic serial show that Bruce Wayne grew up on, the Great Ghost. Adam West voiced the Great Ghost, or the actor that played the Great
It was just a
Ghost.
massive love letter to Adam West, that episode. And in
Exactly.
fact, the show creators, Paul Dini and Tim something, uh,
Bruce, I forgot.
Bruce, yeah, I can't remember, but yeah, they actually went and bought the Batman costume from the show and gifted it to him, just like to show
Nice.
how much they loved him and what he had done for their childhood.
Yeah, exactly. Kevin Conroy did like a voice of Batman in Batman Brave and Bold because that was a different, very different Batman. That was like the Dietrich Bader as like the blue gray Batman, as the
Mm-hmm.
love letter being to various comic books. But in like the future episode of like, or when they go to the future, that Batman was voiced by Kevin Conroy. They always do that, where it's like they'll bring back other actors that voice
Mm-hmm.
Batman into other roles. Like Adam West also voiced like yeah, I think in Batman Brave and Bold also Adam West voiced Tom Wayne, Bruce Wayne's father, in
Mm-hmm.
like an episode two as well. They always do that sort of thing. And I think that's cool. So yeah, Kevin Conroy, and so that's what I think. I think like Steve Shives also said this is the most Gallagher thing. The Gallagher dies around the same time as Kevin Conroy dies, or someone that's more beloved than Gallagher, and so Gallagher's death gets overshadowed by another celebrity's death, a minor celebrity too, and that is just a voice actor too, not to diminish like what Kevin Conroy did as a voice actor, but
Well, I
he's
mean, the
not a
thing is, some voice actors are iconic and super
yes.
like prolific, and they're incredibly well known in the industry. But because we don't see their face, we don't realize that, like Steve Bloom is just
Yes.
everywhere.
Yes. Funny enough, though, like I did see Kevin Conroy at my first ever City Comic Con, I think in 2014 as it were, and he did tell the story where it's like, and he was not expecting this as well, but somehow someone recognized his voice. It was a homeless person that was asking for money. At 3 a.m. in LA, Kevin Conroy went to the ATM machine. He just needed to withdraw some money to like have some
Did
cash
he put
money.
his PIN number into the ATM machine?
I don't know, but a homeless person did come up to, hey man, can you spare some change? Oh yeah, sure. He's like, wait a minute, that voice, you're Batman, aren't you? You're the voice of Batman, aren't you? How much do you need? Like, what do you do? It's like, dude, the voice of Batman. Come on, say a line for Batman. And it's like, yeah, he was outed as the voice of Batman by a homeless person at 3 a.m. in LA. Because I don't know if I would be able to do it, but like, yeah, Kevin Conroy did. So, uh, anyway,
Let's see, other news that's Emily. Jason David Frank, Power Rangers stars cause of death
that's right.
confirmed. The Green Ranger died from paywall.
I think I heard that like, yeah, okay, so let's try this again. I'll load that like a link. No, no, not that one. I'll click it open that link and then
Let's see, CNN, his cause of death was revealed by his wife. Oh, he died of suicide.
yeah, he had mental health issues, so that was unfortunate for like Jason David Frank because yeah, he was the Green Power Ranger, and also later that character became the White Power Rangers too. But like that was the start of like the trope in all the other Super Sentai and like Power Ranger shows of the Green Power Ranger. And yeah, the fact that he died at like age 49 is tragic too as well. I forgot about that. Really a no, for only $8. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. He's talking about something else. I'm sorry. But yeah, that was like is one of the things. And yeah, and again a minor celebrity because like it's only if you are fans of like Power Rangers you would know like Jason, David, Frank. But that's tragic that like that happened. As where that was the other celebrity death that happened. Uh so yeah. Let's see what other things. Oh, okay, so well, what do you say? I saw a Twitter post that crying Optimus for killing defenseless Sentinels after killing surrendering Megatron, ignoring that both were behind the killing and attempted to slay for just humanity. That's true. And the former was previously beaten like Optimus to death, while the later only critical shot at the former because his ego was hurt and his surrender was like far from genuine. Yeah. uh yeah,
Optimus Prime is a
I
cop. Let's be honest.
yeah, there's that. But hey, it was incredibly tragic and sad when he died in 1986 in the Transformers movie. The only good movie. No, Bumblebee was all right. Uh, yeah, so, yeah, but it's like, yeah, it's like the Transformers. Like, I mean, it's hard to like. I mean, if people enjoy the Transformers or that sort of thing, a lot of like a trans representation there, or like a lot of trans people like it, and then yeah, that's fine. Sometimes it'll be hard for us as like a leftist anarchists, especially critical media, where it's just like things like, oh, that is up this probably being like cop, but that shouldn't mean that like you can't enjoy Transformers. Honestly,
I'm rewatching the Arrowverse, even though it's superhero propaganda. I enjoy superhero propaganda, like Arrowverse and the MCU. It's I just like it.
is I mean we don't watch things because of this politics. I watch anime. I don't watch anime for its politics. To which the JJ just quickly said, Jonathan, I really hope you're not watching anime for its politics. Uh okay, so we've gone to like a 40 like 15 minutes beyond our usual cutoff time, but then again we
Nope.
started a little bit late. So I think it's like good time to like end it there. So Isaiah, you have a couple of things, like a two YouTube channels, Sinister Intelligence. Yeah. Oh, yeah, okay. Jason, David, and Frank was like active and well liked in both Colin and Fountain Pen communities. Interesting. Yeah. I don't like the ideas of killing villains because they're just as bad as make it just as bad as villains. Yeah, yeah, I can see that. But anyway, what was I going? Okay, so I go to post links. Well, even some of the links are already down in like the description as it were, but like Isaiah Taylor does have two YouTube channels. One is Center Intelligence, and one is the Autistic Modeling Society. So one's about like different the like true crime sort of like scenarios and other stories that like it happens. And what the second one is all about like the various different like models that like Isaiah Taylor has make.
Yeah. And I'm actually writing a vlog. Well, I'm actually writing like a piece on Microsoft Word about how to build one.
Nice. And Isaiah Taylor also has an Instagram where you can like check out a lot of the photos that Isaiah takes of his cosplay and his models that he has built as well. So like yeah, do check all that things out. Summer Geek on Twitter. Yes, I'm still on Twitter. Twitch, YouTube. It's been 3 months since I posted something on YouTube. I gotta really get back into like posting things on YouTube. But I'm streaming somewhat regularly on like Twitch at least once a week. I won't stream later today. I don't know during this week when I'm gonna be streaming. There's a new chapter of Fortnite, and it's like I want to like just be playing Fortnite. So unless I stream from like the PS4, I'm not gonna be streaming Fortnite until I change the settings on my computer or something like that, so I can stream Fortnite or other games and not have the game be lagging for me as I'm streaming it. So yeah. Um, and yeah, no, thank you for like showing up and like chatting, Von Rack. So that's great to see you again. Programming note that next Sunday is going to be the second Sunday of the month. I know we just had the Patreon hangout like last week, but that's because to make up for the times that we canceled it, as it were. So next week is going to be the second Sunday of the month, and that will be the Patreon hangout as it were. So if you're a patron,
Only
I
2
believe
weeks
we're
after our last month's.
yes, as I've At the end of the show, remember to thank our patrons of Von Rack, Flora, Marty, Tim, the Fuck Boys, Joe, Ely, and Stat Noise. Unless there's another one I forgot. I think that's all of our patrons. Thank you so much for giving us money. Just a couple of things that we pay around here, like the Zoom call or sort of things, but also any money that we don't need, we just give to like Phoenix or to whoever's in need. In order to like give other things to like other people in need, don't forget to share the links the page down in the description. A lot of different things I should like update it more frequently than I do, but definitely a lot of links to like our friends and or a video or cash apps or like PayPal's or like GoFundMe's as well, like Phoenix and like Joanna, like that's Echo and Liquid. They're all in there. You can really they can really use the help out if you have the extra money to do so. So don't forget to share the links on page. And I think John Bruckman, you're part of another podcast, aren't you?
Yes, Dungeons and Debacles. We are no longer cops killing civilians. We did a retcon. We changed that. We just scrapped that entire arc and have moved on to a different set of story arcs. Although I'm still harassing the DM for making NPCs racist. Because now our party includes a Dwergar, a dark, deep down dwarf. And an NPC has been showing suspicion of him and then say, "You literally called him well spoken." Because she was suspicious of how he learned to speak common so well.
Oh, trope from real life they put it in our fantasy world. So it's just like you realize how racist it is. It's like you're well spoken.
It's just me having fun with Kevin.
Yes. All right.
All right. And with that, we'll go ahead and say goodbye.
Bye, everyone.
Don't
do
do
practice
racism.
self-care.
Do practice self-care.
Do practice. Do direct